Live.
Hey, what's happening, Star Wars friends? It is your host, Justin Oldham, tonight on this glorious Friday evening on the latest episode of The Mandalorian. You are joining the Star Wars friends Razor Crest review rewatch here. And oh my God. And if you're here watching this show, you have seen the episode, because if you have not, we are going to totally spoil this for you. So I hope you saw it, because it was epic.
Everything.
Epic.
If you haven't, get out of here, watch it tomorrow.
Oh my God. We had action. We had drama. We had comedy. We had everything.
Justin crying.
I was about in tears. Mm-hmm. By the end of this episode, yes, I was about in tears. And I would say this, it was directed by Robert Rodriguez. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed everything in this episode. There was so much to unpack.
In 33 episodes, or minutes, 33 minutes.
Yeah, in 33 minutes. It was a nonstop roller coaster from start to finish. But before we dive into all this, Christopher is not here tonight. He had a lot going on this evening. Kyle is running a little bit late, so hopefully he can join us to talk more about how we saw Commander Cody in this episode all over the place, wearing Boba Fett armor. It was awesome. But joining me tonight are my normal Star Wars friends.
This is Josh, and I have to say, I told you guys, Almec can't be trusted. Boba Fett is a Mandalorian. Almec's a liar. He has every reason to lie. I've been vindicated. I've never been so happy.
And this is Maggie, and I'm here to tell you that I now actually like Boba Fett.
He did stuff. I'm gonna, and we have a very, very special guest tonight. Josh, I'm gonna let you introduce our guest tonight, because you are very familiar with him, and he is amazing.
Making his way to the mic from deep within the unknown regions, weighing in at 1 pound heavier than Jake something, the Impact champion, Rohit Raju.
Woo! The crowd goes wild.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. I'll take it.
Rohit, we are so happy to have you here tonight. It's an honor to have you as a guest on the show, and those that are watching, hopefully you guys are familiar with him and his work. But Rohit, right off the bat, what's your reaction to this episode? Right off the bat.
Man, goosebumps, absolute goosebumps. Like I was telling you guys before we got on, literally, and we'll get into it, when we saw the first big thing, I was shaking the rest of the episode, because I was just like, oh my God, where is this going? What's going to happen? It's all about to go down right now. And it was from beginning to end. It was like a shot of adrenaline. And it was just like, oh. And I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to see where it was going. Yeah. And by the end of it, I'll just put it to you this way. I watched it at 3 a.m. I was so excited. I texted my friends, made sure they watched it, and I did not go to bed till 6 a.m. because I was so hyped, and I couldn't sleep. I was just so excited, and I'm very excited to be here to talk about it with you guys today.
Well, we are honored to have you, and I think we most of us catch it early in the morning. We try to watch, right when we get up. Occasionally we'll stay up late and watch it when it first drops. I didn't actually catch it until like 11 this afternoon. It was late for me, but I had a project to work on, which was we were doing a closet. We were redoing my daughter's closet. And as I'm doing these shelves, I'm watching the episode kind of propped up on the thing like this. And I'm like trying to work, but my eyes are just glued to my phone like this. And then I pause and I stop and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm watching the episode more than I'm working. Finally, once the episode is done, I am so hyped. I'm like cranking through this shelving. Like, I'm amped right now. Absolutely amped right now. So I really feel for all of those fans who are huge Boba Fett fans that, like Chris, like Josh, that right now probably feel completely what's the word? Like redeemed or like vindicated or I don't even know what the choice of words is right now, because for all of those. For all of those people that look at Boba Fett in Return of the Jedi and he gets hit in a jetpack and falls into the Sarlacc pit, and for years and years and years everybody's going, oh, Boba Fett's dead. He's not alive. He can't survive that.
What, 38 years?
Yes. Like
I need to read a book.
I feel for these people, and for most people that go, well, he didn't do anything in Empire Strikes Back. We didn't do anything in Return of the Jedi. Like, I gotta feel that everything that was formerly canon or in the EU for those fans has now been out there for the world to see. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Josh?
I don't even, it's going to be hard for me to even put it into words.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the things on the top of my bucket list for Star Wars was to, when the canon got wiped, to have Boba Fett escape and, do cool things just like he did in the EU. And now he's done that in live action. And, a lot of, and I feel like the way that he was portrayed kind of holds true to the way he was in the EU. He was a very proficient warrior, and he was kind of one of those people like Thrawn, where he's a villain, but not really. Like, he has a code of honor, and you see that in this episode too, where he's like, well, no, we made a deal, we're going to help you with this, and they're basically like part of the crew now. So vindicated, redeemed, whatever you want to say. I couldn't be happier. And I honestly, I tweeted this morning, but I really thought after the Ahsoka episode that we might get one that was a little bit more low key. And I was like excited. I'm always excited anytime there's any more new Star Wars, but for it to be like this intense and awesome episode, I had no idea it was going to be like this. And it's like they're on the planet, and the slave one, like they see a ship, and I'm like, oh man, Moff Gideon's already there, and then it's slave one, and I was like, I almost passed out.
We have to be very careful, because between Bo-Katan, Ahsoka Tano, and now you get Boba Fett in this, Josh might die. In this show, he might die. So just stay
Jon
tuned.
Favreau was like, this year we're killing Josh.
You're right. Like, Josh, every episode is just going,
yeah,
like that, like the
Fred
Chris
Sandsman.
Farley in Saturday Night Live episodes, just pounding his chest, going, I can't take anymore.
This is the big one.
Yeah. But I got, and for everybody that goes, like you said, Josh, we thought maybe this might be a filler episode. When you look back on it now, and we look back at season 1, and you see the episode with Toro Calican, right? And the Fennec Shand episode, and everybody's like, oh, Fennec Shand's dead. She got shot. Again, Dave Filoni, what you think is a filler episode has something.
It's never a filler episode.
It's never a filler episode. He takes
strong work.
Can we just talk about seeing Fennec Shand in the intro? Because as soon as I saw her, I was like, is she not dead?
She was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, she was great. And it's so cool. Like, she lifts up like the bottom part of the shirt, and you see the robotics in her chest. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. But he doesn't do anything that's filler. He's always got something, a lesson, a piece of the show, something that you can take, and you're going to find it later. It's going to pop up somewhere else. So really, really cool to see that happen again here with so many different things. Maggie, what was your initial impression of the episode? Start to finish, where were you watching? What time? What were your thoughts?
I was watching it at about 7:30 this morning with my mom, like we always do every Friday. So the episode started, and obviously, like, cutest thing ever with him saying the kid's name, and like the whole Force thing was cute. But when the camera did the low angle through the side window, like down by Din's leg, I was like, is this Robert Rodriguez directing? Like, instant thought, because just something about that angle reminded me of like a Spy Kids movie, because it was the low angle indicating like the kid looking. And so I was like, okay, I'm here for this. And then obviously, like, that was not the volume that it was filming in. Which, desert scene, because I'm a huge Robert Rodriguez fan. Like, I'm obnoxious about it. So I'm like, is this him? And then once we get into like the big fight sequence and the Desperado jump off the cliff, I was just like, and the boulder taking out all the stormtroopers, I was just like, yes.
I feel like this is an appropriate time to do this.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
There you go. Nice.
I love him so much. But so my big thing, and I'll just like rant about this for like a second now, rather than waiting until a little bit later on, was that I have thought that the Razor Crest was going to be destroyed the entire season. In fact, as soon as some people were buying the HasLab Razor Crest for $350, I remember distinctly thinking they're going to destroy that so that they can sell you a new ship next year.
I know.
And so
I know.
when there was the fake out,
we're a bunch of suckers.
when there was the fake out of the Razor Crest being damaged earlier in the season, I was like, that's a fake out. They're going to actually destroy it. So when that thing happened,
when the bombardment,
boom,
Turbo
but
laser.
here's the thing. Like, as a writer myself, I can see why they would make that decision. And yes, Tiernan, it was you that informed me that it was not the volume. Shush. But as a writer, the best way to knock a character down completely is to take their child and to destroy their home. You see it in almost every single like Taken style action film. Their apartment will get destroyed, their house will get blown up, something will happen, and that's how you break a character, and that's how you make them reevaluate their entire purpose in life. And so much of this season has been about chipping away at that helmet and breaking Den down. And so I mean, he never said anything like this is the way at all. He didn't even resist Boba that much when she was like, hey, I'm a Mandalorian. I think he's reached that threshold where he's like, everything I know is a lie, and everything, like, I have to find my own way. And so I feel like destroying the Razor Crest and everything that he had that was tied to his like old life, like through the ashes, he'll be reborn. And so I personally think that we're going to see him helmetless in the season finale.
I think that he also seemed very defeated at the end when he was like, they have the baby, it's over. And they're like, no, man, we'll help you out. And I was wondering if they'll set up for season 3, if Boba will be a father figure or mentor towards him and pass on Slave 1 to Din.
That would be incredible.
That was something my buddy Jake and I were talking about. And I was like, dude, what if he passes on Slave 1? You know, he becomes like this father figure to him and shows him the ins and outs of bounty hunting and all this other stuff that he has no clue about, because obviously he's kind of a sheltered child. You know, in a sense, almost like Grogu. And so what if Boba kind of takes him under his wing and boom, we have this great relationship between the two. And then bam, he's like, you know what? Here you go, kid. Here's Slave 1. You know, it's reaching a little bit, but you never know. Or he could get a sweet new Razor Crest as well. So
yeah, there's always that.
and we know, I think, you know, we've already found out from the 2 seasons, season and a half that we've gotten so far, that Mando does have a particular set of skills. He will hunt you, he will find you, and he will kill you. But so again, his child was taken, so that's that trigger. He's going into action. To your point, Maggie, I think he had no other choice at that point other than to trust Boba and Fennec and go, all right, you know, if you're willing to help me, then let's go. This may as well happen. So, but yes, it was a fantastic episode. I do feel bad about spending $350 on the Razor Crest now, but I'm getting all the good stuff with it, so that's good. And it is a really, really cool ship, and I hope he gets basically the same thing back. So,
that's why we have him on, Brandon. I knew he has good opinions.
Yeah, and the one thing that I would say with that, like at this point, Mando, if he knows the child is gone and it's been taken, where did I read it? It was Tiernan said Boba was exuding dad energy. I think Mando is very much exuding dad energy too, where he will stop at nothing at this point to help his child, to save his child, to rescue his child. I can tell you right now, there isn't anything I wouldn't do for my kids. If I got to kill a man, I'll go find him and get him. I'll do my own Taken. And you'll find my particular set of skills, but which are probably not as good as what's his name?
I don't know. Your kid gets threatened, it pulls it out of you, man. You'll do what you got to do.
Yes, you will do what you have to do. So let's break down this episode though in kind of the entirety, and let's go. Let's start at the beginning. The episode was called The Tragedy. So right away, you're like, well, shoot.
Exactly.
Exactly. They hit you with that title, and you're just like,
oh God!
Oh, crap! This is gonna be bad. So, you know, we open with.
You guys know what else is a tragedy?
What's that?
No.
We did get a little bit of dark science. We had some dark troopers.
That's true.
That is a little bit of dark science, but anyway, so
our hate for Beaumont is a little bit of a gag on the show.
Yes. But at this point, dude knows about cloning. He knows it's been going on. Still don't like the guy, but he knows it's been going on. So
he could be a Palpatine clone for all we know. I'm just saying.
He's like, I tried to tell you guys it's really my dad, but you didn't want to listen to me in my dark science comment. So
his uncle or something.
Right. Like
okay.
I was the first clone, but he didn't want me. So we open up with Din and Grogu back on the Razor Crest, right? Grogu's got the little shift knob in his hand, and he's looking at it very much like Gollum, going, my precious, in the ship. And Din is just like, man, I know your name now. Grogu, huh? Grogu.
That was cute.
Dan was all of us this
That was so
week
cute.
watching that clip of Grogu being like, oh, my name.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you understand me now. I know your name. I can talk to you. It was great. So they're having this great moment. And I think Din's like, all right, let's talk about this force thing. Let's talk about these powers you have, right? Here, let me take the ball. Like, you can have it, but I want you to use the force powers and let's see what happens. And it takes him a little bit. And then finally he's like, oh, you can have it. Take it. He finally takes it and he gets super excited about it. And he's like, what does he say? Thank Ferric. And he gets all excited about it, right? And the child's like, whoa, dude, like, why are you yelling at me? And he's like, no, it's okay. I'm excited. It's all right. So, we have this touching moment, kind of a father-son moment, almost like, when you're out there throwing the baseball with your kid and they catch it. And
so good with parent moments.
Yes. It was a beautiful, beautiful parent moment. There you go. And, we get this, they come in on the planet is it Tython? Is that right?
Yeah.
They come into the planet Tython. It's very peaceful, very serene, lush grasses, mountainous terrain. We get these beautiful over like volume shots again, like just the panning sequences of the stunning background. It looks amazing, right? And I think he lands and he says something. And he's like, well, I can't land on the temple, so we're gonna have to open up. What do you say? We're gonna have to open the windows. We're gonna have to roll the windows down, and the next thing you see is like dad and
Yeah.
Yes, and he's just jetpacking with the child.
I'm gonna get a tattoo of that.
Yes, if Josh, yes,
the kid has one more good moment before.
Before the shit hits the fan. Yes. So he flies him up to the top of this temple, and we're sitting in this temple. Now, what was your Rohit? Let me ask you, because it's been a while since we've seen a Jedi temple. I think the last one we would have seen was probably in Rebels. It's been a hot minute since we've seen a Jedi temple. He sits the child in the middle and he's walking around. You kind of see these steps on the outside and you can kind of see, yes, beautiful. You can kind of see the Jedi writing or whatever kind of around it. And he's looking for an on-off switch like a dad would. Yeah. Where do I put the batteries? Where do I turn it on?
Yeah.
And he sits the child in the middle of it and he's like, I guess I'm just supposed to let you do your thing, right? What was your initial impression when you saw a Jedi temple for the first time, and I don't know how long, right? What were you thinking? What was your thinking of what would happen to the child?
I instantly got flashbacks of like Rebels and Clone Wars, like when Ezra went to the Jedi temple and he had ended up talking to Yoda. I thought that's what I got flashbacks. And I guess the writing on the seat there, the stone, is actually very ancient, so it wasn't used by just Jedi. It was used by both Jedi and Sith. So that was a theory that's going around, like, what if a Jedi doesn't contact him, but a Sith does? Or maybe someone in between, which I thought was also opens up a lot of possibilities. Me, I'm a Luke Skywalker mark. I want it to be Luke Skywalker, obviously, or Ezra. That's my go-to. Obviously, Luke, what is he doing right now? That's what he's doing. He's looking to rebuild the temple and the Jedi Order and stuff like that. So why wouldn't he, be feeling out for something like that? So, but no, I was expecting, I instantly got flashbacks of like any video game that I have played, like Fallen Order, when he goes to the Jedi Temple. I instantly got flashbacks of like any visions, like Force visions and stuff like that. So I was expecting something of that nature. And I figured we wouldn't get anything right off the bat. Obviously we didn't. But that's what that was the vibe that I got in that whole scene. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Going off what you just mentioned about the writing around the ring, I saw somebody on one of my Facebook groups theorizing that that because it looks like an orb, that the other half of it might have something to do with the Sith, like underneath of it, like it could rotate or something. Given the fact that the writing is used by both, and so I like that theory of like, is there like a Sith temple beneath the Jedi temple and like the balance of the Force?
Yeah, it could be.
Mm-hmm.
I love that stuff.
I know.
Well, and in the EU, Tython was like the planet for the Jedi, like before they were even Jedi, and that's when they had the two moons. One was the Ashla, and one was the Bogan. Like initially broke off from. So, like if they're gonna dip far enough back and bring some of that stuff into new canon, I mean, it's totally possible.
Yeah. Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit on the podcast after the last episode. We'd basically talked about Tython versus Octo, right? Like which was the first, because they are both, I think, considered ancient civilizations or first Jedi temples, essentially. And much like here on Earth, we've got civilizations that date back thousands of years that people are like, well, this was the first, or people are like, no, this was the first. And I think it's interesting to see that kind of same mantra that, hey, while this is going on over here, this was also going on over here. So it is entirely possible that maybe there were two locations where Jedi were coming up at the same time. But yeah, it was really, really cool. We had this little, dome thing. And as the child's sitting there, we get butterflies kind of coming in. And we've seen that before, right? When he's walking through the canyon in season 1 with the child before he gets jumped by the other pirates or whatever, we see the lizards kind of crawling up and gathering around, right? So here we have these little kind of butterflies starting to gather, and he's just like, oh yeah, this is a happy place. I like this. So and Din's trying to get him to do something, and then all of a sudden we get Jedi powers activate, and this tube kind of forms up, and he goes into like yoga mode, or he's yes yes, like even the fingers, look at that, he's just like he's channeling the Force perfectly. This is awesome.
I need to get a little Buddha statue of Grogu like that.
Yes.
And his aura is blue, so
yes.
To answer Tiernan's question about the butterflies, we've seen them a number of times throughout different media. Like, there's been comics, the Darth Vader comics, the butterflies symbolize Padme. They were in the Ben Solo rollout kids video on YouTube. And I think I remember seeing somebody from Lucasfilm at one point say that the butterflies symbolize the light side of the Force. Yep. So that's what that illusion is supposed to be. So
that's what I was actually going to add on. Anakin or Vader, when he would have visions in the comics, great stuff. He would the blue butterflies were still part of and that was like a piece of the light side that he had left in him. So yeah, that's what I kind of figured that was a deep cut to. Like we were alluding earlier before we came on, this season has had so many deep cuts. Like it's like and like we get it. And then other fans, whether they like it or not, but it literally pleases everyone, and that's so hard to do in this generation of anything to please everybody. Yeah. And unless it's boob armor or eating eggs, obviously that for whatever reason that upsets. Okay, cool. But for the most part, this season has brought balance to the Force, so to speak.
Yes,
it has.
Yeah. So he's got this great moment, and the child's like doing his thing, and he's like, oh, what's this blue force field? And he kind of touches it, and it knocks him back a little bit. But then we hear something. We hear an engine. Oh, we got an incoming ship. Oh crap, what is it?
Is it Moff Gideon?
Could be Moff Gideon. Could be anybody. Toro Calican back from the dead, following Mando. You never know. But then we get this amazing, like Din looks over and he sees this ship, and it's just streaming across the sky on the outskirts, circling the temple that they're on, and you get the first shot of Slave One. And that engine sound is so recognizable. Like, you know it anywhere. Like, you know, and I was half waiting for him to start dropping seismic charges. But but we get that engine sound and you know it, and he's just watching him and he's following it, and he's like, oh crap, we've got trouble. We gotta go, kid. Let's go. And he's trying to like talk to the kid. He's trying to get him going.
He should have called him Grogu, I'm just saying.
That's what I said. He's like, kid, we gotta go. Like, use his name. He responds to his name. Use his name. But oh my God, the return of Slave One in The Mandalorian. Josh, you had to have like pooped your pants at that point. So like,
yeah, I didn't have my Mandalorian Depends on this week because, like I said, I thought I was going to be
Man Depends.
Yeah. No, and you know, I didn't. You say that, and I didn't even think about the fact that we haven't seen Slave One yet in this series. We've seen, obviously, Boba Fett's alive, cool, but I didn't even realize. Like, obviously, I saw it. I screamed. I watched it like 5 a.m, so it was like I had to like do one of these, couldn't make sure I didn't wake anybody up. Like, no, yeah, I well, especially because I thought it was Moff Gideon. Like, I was like, oh, Imperials found them already. They put the tracker on, and then when it was Slave One, I just, yeah, like I said in my opening, I almost passed out. Yep.
I mean, well, I will say this: Moff Gideon was not far behind Boba. He was not far behind. He was right on his heels. So, we get there. He lands the ship. Mando puts his heat sensor on. He's like, all right, let's see what's happening. And you see this figure stroll out the hatch of Slave One coming down the ramp. And he's got the robes on. He's wearing the same outfit that was worn in the previous episode 2, right? Was that the Crate Dragon one? Or was it the first episode?
That was the first episode.
First episode. So he comes out wearing the same outfit that he was wearing at the end of that episode, like the billowy cloaks, kind of more like the sand person type, the Tusken Raider type style of clothing. And he's so recognizable as he strolls down that ramp, and you're like, oh crap, it's about to hit the fan. And he's like, man, Din can't get to the kid. So he finally says, look, I'll hold him off as long as I can. I'm going to go down there and see what happens. So he goes down there, gets shot at a couple times, and Tamara Morrison comes strolling around this rock like it's nothing. Like, he's just walking right up to him. Like, I mean, this is like, he's so nonchalant about it. Like, I shot at you a couple times, and he's like, we're going to have a casual conversation here. But he's got his gaffy stick. You can see his robes here.
He was so chill.
Yeah, he was so calm, cool. And, he starts talking to Din, and Din thinks he's after the child initially. And he said, no, I'm here for the armor. And he's like, well, if you want the armor, you're going to have to take it off my cold, dead body. And he's like, not your armor, the other armor. And he's like, that's my armor. And here we start to find out, he starts to give a little backstory. He's like, no, that's my armor. It was handed to me by my father. It's not yours to have. And Din doesn't believe him. He doesn't believe him. He's
Din
like,
not believing somebody that they're Mandalorian? Shocking.
Right.
Right.
So, he's like, look, here's the deal. He's like, you're going to give me the armor or I'm going to shoot. Here, I've got a sniper train on you, or I've got a sniper up there who's ready to take the shot. And he's like, well, she takes the shot, or the person takes the shot, I'll hit you and then go after them and it'll all be good. And he's like, no. The sniper is aimed at the kid. And he's like, oh crap. And at this point, he knows he's in trouble. He's like, I got too far away.
And then Finnick
see what was going on.
Finnick speaks. And she's like, sharp ear.
Yep. And he's like, Fennec Shand? And she's like, oh, you got a good ear, Mando. And so he knows. He's like, she's still alive. And so basically, and I forget the deal that they work out. Basically, he says, look, he's like, I just care about the child. I'll happily, like, if you want the armor, I'll give you the armor. But the child has to stay safe. Like,
was it when the Imperials landed?
That's right, when they landed.
That's right about there. And then you see a third ship coming in. And it's a transport troop ship. Right. And at this point, oh crap, here comes the Empire. Here comes Moff Gideon. Right. The ship was very similar to the drop ships in Force Awakens, kind of that same style of ship. And it comes strolling in. And at this point, it's every man for himself. We need to fend off stormtroopers. And we get into this epic scene. And and I can't remember the movie. It was a military movie where they were up on the hill, and I can't remember what it was, but they were trying to defend it. It may have been Mark Wahlberg movie, but
probably
most of the people that he was with end up passing away in the movie. But what is it? Maybe.
That sounds
Maybe. I don't.
right.
Yeah, and it was a good movie, and he eventually makes it down into a village that keeps him safe until he can get rescued. But at this point, all chaos ensues, and we start to get this epic battle between the bounty hunters, the Mandalorians, and the Empire.
Can we talk about how Dan hauled ass back up that hill and then got himself knocked out and missed the entire first half of the battle?
Yep.
I was like, all right, Sleeping Beauty, take your time. They can handle it.
This was the shot that Josh just put up here was one of the coolest shots and angles in this movie, because here is the same tool that was used to clean a bantha's teeth that he is about to go to town on some stormtroopers with.
And he goes to town.
Yeah, and he goes to work. The first dude that he murks with this thing, he hits like in the head, and he like ricochets off rocks like this. It's like side to side like a pinball falling down into the crevice there. And I'm just like, oh my God. I was like, Boba Fett's about to wreck people. And he just takes out a bunch of troopers, just going one to the other, tearing them apart.
I just have to say, I was almost more impressed by him wrecking people with the gaffy stick than when he got his armor back. Like seeing him with his armor back on, and I know I'm jumping ahead, was like super cool, but like as like impressive and just like ruthless, just meleeing people, like dudes in armor with guns, like it's just wild. Like that was so cool. Yeah.
I had figured he tracked Mando. He was tracking his suit. That's my guess. That's how he found him. He was probably tracking him since Tatooine, and he finally caught up with him. I thought that scene right there, if anyone doubted, like you were talking earlier, how people were like, Boba's never done anything. That was that redeemed.
Yes.
And that showed that he's this grizzled, old school, he's that guy now. He's the old, I can't really think of like almost like man, what was that old John Wayne movie? And Jeff Bridges redid it. Cowboy movie, Western. Yes, that's pretty much what he is. He's the old gunslinger, and he showed his worth, and he showed why he is that way. And man, he was just tearing those guys up with that gaffy stick. And it's just like, well, this is why people love Boba Fett. This is why people that read the comics and stuff like that, why they're huge fans. Look at that. And his
Look at that beautiful shot.
His face, his features are all burned from the acid and stuff like that. It's like, oh man, how can you not dig it? And it was great. Absolutely, I loved it. And then when I saw Slave One, as we were talking, I said, "Let's fucking go, man!" I was like, "This is." And then from jump right there, I was like, "This is what this episode is going to be about." And then from there, I was literally just like shaking. I was just like, "Okay, what's going to happen next?" Like I couldn't wait. I was just so nervous. And excited, and I literally texted my buddies at 3 a.m. I was like, "You guys need to watch this," because I figured they were up, and if not, I didn't care. I wanted them to watch it because I wanted to talk
wake
about
up
it.
and watch this.
Yes, like they had to. And they
Get your ass up! It's Boba
out
Fett.
of bed right now.
Yes, but man, I was like goosebumps, and when you started talking about it, I had goosebumps.
Oh yeah, that first shot just was epic. Like, and that there's certain scenes in Star Wars that all of us have watched and got us into these movies, right? Like for me, my favorite scene of all time is that Empire Strikes Back, when he's looking through the binoculars on Hoth and he sees the walkers, just the gigantic feet of the AT-ATs walking towards the rebel base was what got me hooked. That was my favorite. That's still my favorite scene. For some, it's the very first scene of A New Hope with the Star Destroyer chasing Tantive V4, right after Rogue One. Like that got them hooked. Like that was their first oh my god moment of Star Wars. That scene in this episode, I think for a lot of people maybe that are big Boba Fett fans, was just like, I'm gonna remember that moment, that shot, that scene forever, and I'm gonna have that on replay nonstop.
Finally.
Yes, finally, it's that redemption. So so we get to this awesome scene, and even more so, I think, for Boba Fett, just wrecking people with the gaffy stick, showing what a true, absolute warrior he is without the Mandalorian tricks and weapons and the hidden stuff and the armor, how much of a warrior he is stripped down to his core. I think that was the redeeming moment right there. More so than a little bit later on here when he actually goes and gets his armor and then still wrecks some more stormtroopers. Like
rockets.
Yes.
I was like,
that
what?
was awesome. And so let's move ahead. Let's skip ahead here a little bit. Let's get to that part. So one of my favorite things when the stormtroopers arrive was the orange shoulder pauldron stormtrooper. Like that, it's very, very much a callback to Tatooine. When you see the squadron leader on Tatooine, trying to find Luke. That was awesome to see. He keeps throwing bodies at these 3 bounty hunters, Mandalorians, trying to get up there, and they're just dying left and right. And he's like, "You guys can't do anything," and struggling, literally struggling to just get up this hill to get a simple child. That's all. And I think he's getting frustrated. And here at this point, I think they start to realize they get rid of like the first wave, right?
And
then another ship comes in. And at this point, Boba Fett's like, screw this, I'm going to go get my armor.
Well, so this is the thing that cracks me up. Why does Din keep leaving the Razor Crest door open? I'm like, Din.
He's got a really good security system.
He just like assumes it's fine. I was like, do you lock your doors at night, sir?
He's that guy that, like, I had a roommate like that once. He like grew up in the country, and he's like, he never locked the door. And I was like, dude, no, we live in the city. You can't leave the door unlocked. Like, right. I don't care what you did on your farm. Like,
and you know what? I take back my comment. I said he has a really good security system. He doesn't. Because in the first episode, the Mithril punches in some random numbers and his armory opens up for the Mithril. Yeah. He's got a horrible ship. So here, I'll pour one out here for the Razor Crest. It served its purpose onto a new ship. There we go. Oh! And then Josh hits us with this.
He just got it fixed.
Yep. And I think for me, that was
here,
the
I got another
part.
picture of the Razor Crest. Is this better?
Does anybody have any marshmallows?
Sorry for the evil laugh.
I really actually loved seeing the planetary bombardment by the Quentin's class destroyer, because in Clone Wars you see that a lot, or in Rebels there was planetary bombardments where Thrawn's up there just hammering planets from above and causing mass destruction. I think there was one he even fired on a village full of people that wasn't evacuated. So it was really cool to see that kind of live action. Like, he didn't have to send a bunch. He's just like, no, we're gonna send one shot, and I'm just gonna blow your ship up. And Josh, you had to bring that one up, and I think that's the funnier shot right there.
I'm gonna leave that one in there, and then anytime you guys talk about the HasLab from now on, I'm just gonna go like this.
HasLab died. So during this time, the second wave comes in. Boba goes, you know what? I got to go get my armor. I can't do all this with just a gaffy stick. So he kind of takes off. Fennec is kind of fighting on her own, right?
This is what she's doing right here.
Yes, she is awesome.
Ooh, she was awesome.
Yes. And we always love seeing good bounty hunters, I think. I think we didn't get enough of the bounty hunters in the original trilogy or some of the other stuff. It was kind of nice to see Fennec and Boba do a little bit of damage in this episode.
A lot of damage.
Mm-hmm. She reminded me of, was it Zam from Clone Wars?
Yeah,
Zam Wesell.
When she was up there, the helmet and just the hairstyle, I was like, oh, that's kind of a sweet little nod, those two together. You know what I mean? Obviously, we saw, remember her fate. But no, she was, what's the actress, her name? I can't remember her name. It's not Maggie.
Ming-Na Wen?
Yes, aged.
Mulan.
She never aged. Just beautiful woman.
Yes.
But she was just so awesome. To me, it was like, the side characters they had this season, like Cobb Vanth, I want to see more of them because the actors that they had playing these roles and the things they did such a great job. It's like, I got to see more of them. They need to be recurring. You know what I mean? Next season. So that was really cool. She was great. I love to see how awesome she was.
Speaking of her, isn't she the first actress to do both Marvel, MCU, and Star Wars?
I think so.
Obviously now Rosario has done both. But...
She's also a Disney princess.
Oh, that's right, because she's Mulan, right? Or she's in.
She's the voice of Mulan from the 90s.
She's the voice of Mulan.
Oh, really?
Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. And I love. Sorry, I love Brandon's comment here. 360 no scopes and shit. Yeah, she has a sniper rifle, and she's literally no scoping people. If you play any first person shooter and you're playing Call of Duty, you no scope people, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Brandon, do you do that? He's a part of the boys gaming clan. He's
nice.
He's one of those guys. Hey, speaking of Brandon said this, and we need to remember this for the next episode. We have to change the name of the show. So can't be Razor Crest Reacts anymore.
Right. That's right.
Yep. It's Razor Crest Destructs. I don't did Razor Crest destroyed? I don't know. We'll have to look at that.
Razor Crest deconstruction, something maybe.
Yeah. But so
he brought up Cobb Vanth though, and I just wanted to. I thought about this too. Why do we think that he didn't try to get it from Cobb?
I had a theory about it. Go ahead. I feel like by the time that he got out of the Sarlacc pit and he like recovered and like maybe made his way into town, he saw how Cobb was using it to help the villagers, and he was just like, it like, what's the point of disrupting this thing that's happening? And I think that maybe he was keeping an eye on his armor to see what was happening. And then when he saw Den haul off with it, he was like,
shit, it went off planet. I gotta go
get that now. Plus, maybe, I mean, he knew Finnick. He had Finnick.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't track him through the armor. Maybe he didn't know where it was. And then, like you said, when he was watching what was going on, and then he saw it, like, oh shit, that dude has my armor. And then maybe, like you said, he just tracked and finally caught up with him. And he's like, I want my armor back.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Maybe he just didn't know where it was.
Since we knew that he like seems to have some moral code, because I know a lot of people had theorized like, oh, Boba Fett's going to be a villain, which that was the stuff that I was not here for with ideas about Boba Fett. So I feel like since we see that he has some sort of code himself, that maybe he was like, okay, well.
Yeah. I always figured it would have been like Fistful of Dollars where, or for a few dollars more, where they're both trying to do the same thing. They're kind of enemies, but then and it did, and that's something I couldn't believe it happened that fast. I thought the Boba Fett thing was going to be a slow burn.
Yeah,
but it was just like, oh, hey.
I thought it'd be a season 3 build up.
Did you not watch the last episode with Ahsoka?
I know. It was like right off the bat. It was,
right off the bat.
2 white lightsabers. I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. So it was like, and I figured the Boba thing would have been a slow burn just because of season 1.
I agree.
And then the first episode, it's like, oh, they're going to slow burn this. And then, nope, hey, I need this. We're enemies for 2 seconds. Oh, now we're going to team up. And they were like, oh, okay, we're doing this. I was fine with it. It was cool. I was happy to see it. And then, shit hit the fan.
I feel like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are like, when you're working with somebody and they get like duct tape stuck on them and they have like hair on their arms and they're like, I'm just gonna rip it off fast. Yeah, like not the slow thing. That's kind of what they're doing right now. They're just like, we're gonna get into it and we're gonna amp this season up tenfold and make it super exciting. And it has been awesome to see. And we've talked about this a little bit on the show, where when you see some of those lead characters like Ahsoka, like Bo-Katan kind of come into the show, where the show is titled The Mandalorian. And in season 1, it was very much about Din and the child, and there wasn't a lot of old school characters. It was a lot of newer characters, right? Some of the things that I think I like about this is that we got more Fennec Shand in this episode. We are getting Boba Fett, who is an original character, but didn't have a lot of screen time, right? And we've got Cobb Vanth, who is a completely new character from the Aftermath novels. I like getting these newer characters introduced where maybe we get them a little bit more often. Not necessarily Bo, although I would love to see her more, and Ahsoka, because they've had their own series. They've had their own shows, per se, where they were more of a lead character. And I think it's awesome to see the Mandalorian with some of these new characters kind of just building and adding on to that world building that we get with this show.
I think that's what they're doing. Like you said, they are at world building, but I think they're creating their own universe. So they're seeing what sticks. We introduced Cobb Vanth. How do people react to him? Whereas you said Bo and Ahsoka did have their own thing, but who watched it? The diehards watched it because it was a cartoon. Now you have these people are like, oh, Katie Sackhoff's in this. People they seem to know who her character is. And then you know what? I heard the name Ahsoka. What's the deal with her? Oh, she's destroying everybody. So now it's like, oh, let's give Ahsoka a movie or series. Let's give Katie Sackhoff a movie or series. Cobb Vanth, okay, we can have him reoccurring. Let's put him in the video game. Let's give him a comic. Let's give I forgot her name already. The sniper.
Fennec Shand.
Let's give her own whatever. So now they're building. They're literally, and it's kind of what I can't remember if we talked about it yet on here, but they have brought. Yeah, we did the best of both worlds. So now you're getting. They're creating these new characters, and they're bringing in legacy characters, but they're bringing in these legacy characters that are such a deep cut that we haven't had a lot of. I guess material with them besides like really offshoot stuff like comics, cartoons, and novels. But now it's like, okay, now you can start. The real money's always going to be in TV and movie, and that's where you're going to sell your action figures and stuff like that. So they're doing it. So I think that's what they're doing. They're building this world, this Filoni-verse, so to speak. And now you're going to get everybody involved in it, and I think you're going to start to see a lot of spin-offs with these characters.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I point out about the Mandalorian is that Din is fairly unaware of everything in the world. Like he barely knew what Jedi were until last week. When the nice lady explained some things to him.
Nice lady.
The nice lady.
But it works so well because you have these opportunities for Din to meet characters like Boba and for Boba to explain to him and the audience that doesn't know Boba Fett. And it's so natural. It's so nice to have a character that is as unaware as, let's say, 45 to 50% of the audience, has no idea who these characters are, has no idea where they came from. And yet through Din, they're learning. And so it's a very like natural metamorphosis, so to speak, because they're growing and learning with the character. And it's Favreau and Filoni just
hit the they're doing it. It's like, it's what so many people wanted, and it's almost like it's too good to be true.
It's the expanded universe. We all want it in the 90s.
Yes.
Yeah. And I love, I know Josh has a comment here, but I loved Tiernan's comment, #bring back Frog Lady. I'm not going to lie. I could go for a Star Wars rom-com. We don't have any.
And it's just that
exactly right. Like
no subtitles, no subtitles.
No subtitles, just all frog, frog.
We're also going to sell a book that tells you how to speak frog, so you can understand the movie.
Yes. Forget Arabesh and basic. We're gonna speak frog. We're gonna learn frog to watch this movie. But yes, I could totally go for a Frog Lady rom-com for some reason. I don't know why. It just sounds amazing to me. Josh, what did you have? And by the way, we have a special guest on tonight's show. Besides Rohit, ladies and gentlemen, Bo-Katan has joined us in his sideways
the whole time
for some reason in Josh's room. She's very tall.
She's been displayed like that because I put her all the way back to the wall, and you still could only see like her knees. So yeah, so that was the way to get her in the frame.
You should have left it the other way. It would have been like mystery character back behind there, and we could have been guessing all night. Like, who is this?
People know what cutout I bought. Come on.
Y'all, you realize we might get a Boba Fett cutout, right? Like
a new Boba Fett cutout with Dad belly. So
yes, I was just gonna say,
and action figure. You know that's coming.
Props,
I'll buy it.
So much props to Tamara Morrison, who is back in this episode. He has been in a ton of stuff, in always kind of like smaller roles. Certainly like Aquaman, he was his father, who had kind of a smaller role. In that movie, and he did a great job with that. He did an amazing job with that. But to see him in this, not just in the fight scenes, but kind of in the communication, like in just talking with.
Oh, look at him!
Look at that dad bod.
Look at him!
Love it. So the funny thing is, when that armor first appeared on Cobb Vanth, one of the main things that I pointed out was that Mandalorian armor is made to fit the wearer. Here, he has been without his armor for so long, it no longer fits him.
Hey, he's been eating
in the
good.
desert.
He's been eating good.
Yeah, he's been eating good. You take down a crate dragon, you got a lot of meat there. You're set for a while.
Exactly.
So he's been eating really, really good in the desert. But
I think he's got a freezer packed full of Sarlacc meat.
there you go.
You might
So,
be right.
but Tamara Morrison did an amazing job in this episode, not just with the fight scenes and the action stuff, but with the actual acting and the conversing with Din and Fennec and playing Boba Fett. It was so cool to see. Hats off to Tamara Morrison. And I think a lot of the things that he displays in this episode, when you go back and you watch Clone Wars and you watch a young Boba Fett with Aura Singh and Bosk when he was running around with the other bounty hunters after his father had died, you could see there were definitely some things he was uncomfortable doing when he was with Aura Singh that she was trying to push him to do, and he didn't want to do it. So he has had, I think, somewhat of a moral code since his father Jango was around that I think it has always been there, and it was displayed in Clone Wars a little bit. But again, we never got it fully fleshed out because we never got an older Boba Fett other than what you saw in Empire and ROTJ.
I just hope, like I said in a previous episode, that we get that moment later on. Now that he's part of the crew, I imagine that Din brings up something about the Jedi in relation to the child, and then Boba says, like Dave Chappelle did when he was Black Bush, he killed my father.
Oh my God, please. That would be so good. I love the way he says his name, though, how he pronounced Boba Fett. He was like, me, Boba Fett. Or I can't even, the way he said it was so cool.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, it was so cool how he said it.
We kind of brushed through something earlier when they first met. He said something that echoed. He said a couple things. He echoed what his dad said. He said, like, I'm a simple man just trying to make my way in the galaxy.
Trying to make my way in the galaxy.
Huge for that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, cool.
And then there was some sort of line like, like my father before me. And I was like, Luke, that's Luke. Like Luke said that.
He also said I have allegiance to no one, which I thought was really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, we've gotten through about half of this.
That's the creed Din should be following, the answering to no one.
I think he will sooner or later.
Yes. And we get to some really, really cool additional backstory on Boba Fett here in a little bit. But let's go to the second wave of troopers arrives and starts to overrun them. And we clearly see Fennec pinned down. Din was asleep for the whole first half of the battle, knocked out by force powers. He finally wakes up and comes down and saves Fennec and joins Fennec in the fight.
Just standing in front of her. Whew.
Yeah.
He was a shield. He was a human shield.
Yes. And basically he assists her. They start to fend off a lot of the incoming stormtroopers, but then we cut to Moff Gideon, right? And Moff Gideon comes on, and you love when Moff Gideon comes on because we haven't seen a lot of him yet this season. We've seen little snippets. And he comes on, and what does he say? He says, "Have the Dark Troopers been activated?"
We've skipped. We skipped all of this though.
That's right. So I forgot. He goes back to his ship. He gets his armor, and then he plops it. Like Fennec and Din are pinned down at this point, right? And he basically dives in and saves the day, and he uses his full array of awesome Boba Fett Mandalorian armor and just starts murking him. He uses his wrist rockets, which I don't think are whistling birds. He uses his blaster pistol. Now I did miss his normal like rifle shotgun. Yeah, that was the gun that I kind of missed here. So, but I don't know where it's at. Maybe it's lost forever. Maybe he'll get another one later on. I don't know. But he does a great job with the blaster pistol. Uses the full array of his equipment. He uses the knee rockets, which was awesome. Because you can see them on any Boba Fett figure that you get. They're down there. And you just what are those? And you've never seen them.
I think
he actually uses them.
He's got knee rockets.
Yeah, I don't have the figure. It's on his left knee,
right here.
right? Or is it on the right?
You
got a figure?
Yeah, he's got him on.
Yep, there it is. Yep.
You can kind of see
The
it.
man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
Woo!
And it's
He's
much
now-
easier to see on a black series than a 3.75. Yeah.
Just a little.
So he uses all of those things, right? And he takes out all these troopers. They start panicking. They run, they flee, they run and hide. And they head back to their ship and they board the two ships and they start taking off. And at this point, I thought, nah, we're not going to get the rocket firing Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, like, he's like, beep, drops the little sensor down.
Oh my God.
He drops the little sensor down.
How sweet he looks.
And, you know, he leans forward, he launches the rocket. You just see it trailing up in the sky as these two ships are in low orbit. And he hits one of them and he blows it up, knocks it into the other one.
So
and then they kind of start this slow descent back to Earth and just both end up in a fiery death. And
Speaking of fiery death,
yeah, Josh, killing me.
Brutal.
So anyway, so he blows it up and you hear Din say, "Nice shot." And he said, "I was aiming for the other one." And here's that's where the comedy of Boba Fett. It was like, where did that come from? Yeah, he said, "I was aiming for the other one." And you're just like, where did that come from? So at this point, and then this is where we get the planetary bombardment and the death to the Razor Crest. And they can clearly see, oh, jeez. So bad.
I'm sorry, I keep laughing. I just keep thinking about everybody who backed the house.
it was a pretty cool visual.
It was so
It was
awesome.
really cool visual.
My mother was like, "Did they just blow up the Razor Crest?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yep.
I think everyone was just like, really, like picture earlier we saw like the smiling into the oh my God, like when that happened, it was like they just blew up a ship. Yeah, exactly.
I do just want that's actually the title
really
is
the
about
tragedy.
that's the
Yes.
tragedy.
Yep.
I do just want to back up and say that both Boba Fett and Fennec are my mom's new favorite characters. She was like, "I like that Boba character."
I like Sean's comment down here. Boba's comedy stifled by Vader all along.
Yes.
So
Trust
Boba
Anakin
was
to be
really
like,
the
no, I'm the
jester.
funny one.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, here we go. I imagine Kyle rolling his eyes when he said that.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Oh,
But-
wait, I have a scoop. Actually,
Uh-oh.
I should say Michael has a scoop.
Incoming. Scoop coming in. It's like fresh off the wire,
Now,
Josh.
another 1,000 backers, and it'll come with exploding action.
Here
Yeah,
we
they're
go.
opening it back up, so you can buy it. And if you know,
Wait, remember
Yeah.
that?
It'd be
Remember
like
that first picture where all the pieces were like pulled out, and it just like showed you all the little white pieces of it.
yeah,
and
like
we're
the Jawas
Yep.
taking it apart.
That's
Yeah.
actually that's what you're getting. It's build your own. Like it's a pile of dust, and then like build your own Razor Crest.
Pile of
No.
dust.
It'll be like the TIE fighters that the wings come off.
Yeah, the
toys
pop
where
off
the
wings.
come off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now
That's
it is funny because they did take the katana. They did take one of the katanas, and it may have been Mythbusters or something, but they did take one of those full HasLab katanas and they recreated the scene where Jabba's sail barge blows up from the movie. They basically filled it with like explosives and did kind of the ILM. Hey, we're gonna blow up this giant model. And it was actually pretty cool. So
Awesome.
if somebody bought an extra Razor Crest and wants to video that and send it in to us, we would love to see that. So please
We'll
make
premiere it
sure-
on our show. Yeah.
Yes, we would be happy to. So at this point, yes, so Boba's back. He's got his armor. Now he's full Boba Fett. He has achieved 100% Boba Fett status.
Like full belly.
Yes, full belly Boba Fett. And we get this picture is killing me.
I just
Yeah,
love
it's
it
gonna be a lot
so
easier
much.
to cosplay as him as a middle-aged.
I
I
was gonna
cannot
say,
wait
yes.
to see it.
A lot of cosplayers got to be happy right now. What's
Oh
also
my God.
killing me is that Mando's chest plate was crooked, and so that picture really bothers my OCD right now. So
Yes.
look at it. Come on,
Yep.
fix it.
Look, he had just been knocked out, was
You're
fighting,
right.
was shot
You're
at.
I got to give Rohit credit here because he sees that. Whereas when the first stormtrooper comes running off the ship, one of his shoulder pauldrons is like hanging down here and it's super
Oh my
loose. And for me, a 501st guy, that bugged the crap out of me. I was like,
I
you need
think
to get your crap in order.
501st guys.
You need to get your crap in order because that shoulder pauldron was like hanging off, or that not the shoulder pauldron, shoulder armor, whatever.
Hear that, Dave?
Pauldron is
Hear
the
that,
piece that goes
John?
over.
Call Justin next time.
Call me. Call me. I come do it for you.
You probably you pay for your own plane
free,
ticket,
right?
See, but mine is a shadow trooper. So mine would be all black. So if he wants to introduce the shadow troopers on a future episode of Mandalorian, right here, sign me up. I'm in. Call me. I'm coming. But yeah, so we see him back here. They're all back. And at this point, they, there's the planetary bombardment. Razor Crest blows up. They look up and they can see a starship up there. And at this point, they're like, okay, Boba, you need to get back to your ship because they're going to light your ship up if you don't get it back and take off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he gets back to his ship. He flies up. He goes, I forget what he calls it. He goes, I'll do a light or a kind of a flyby.
Dark Troopers came down first, actually.
Yeah,
sorry, I don't mean to.
So no, it's okay. So Moff Gideon at this point is basically saying, have the Dark Troopers been dispatched yet? And
call them Dark Troopers, which is so sweet.
Yes.
Oh my God, I lost my mind.
Yeah, we talked about that pre-show. He, Filoni likes to hide a lot of things, and he flat out says, "Oh yes, love it." He likes to hide a lot of things. So here, where we saw him in the previous episode, and he, maybe didn't call him out, and he might be like, "Well, those may be Dark Troopers, they may not be Dark Troopers." He flat out calls them Dark Troopers, and you can clearly see those are kind of the droid version, which. For those that follow if you've played Dark Forces, if you follow the EU, the droid version was phase 1. Phase 2 and 3, they started to get into the actual, cloning of people that have force sensitive abilities. They beefed up the armor. They had force sensitive abilities. They carry a shield. I have one. There you go. Yes. There's phase 3 right there. So you start to see the development of the Dark Troopers. So for them to actually put them in this episode and call them out, it was a huge expanded universe drop right here. And for those that don't know, a famous Jedi was associated with the Dark Troopers for stopping that project, which was Kyle Katarn.
Where is he?
So maybe we're going to get some Kyle Katarn by the end of the
I swear to God, if we get a Kyle Katarn, I will have some very choice words.
Not a Kyle Katarn fan?
Ooh,
no, come on. No, all right, you got to pick. You got to pick one. Maybe. You got to pick one. Kyle Katarn, Dash Rendar.
I'll take Dash.
Oh, okay. All right. Good choice.
We already have a better Dash Rendar. His name's Han Solo.
Oh. So,
hey, we passed this picture, but I feel like we passed this picture in the storyline, but I got to show it.
I know.
Post after the blue, aura.
So here's a great question. So he was on this rock for quite some time. And it took a lot out of him. You could tell he was communicating. Do we think, Rohit, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Do you think he was communicating with somebody else, or do you think somebody was communicating with him?
I feel that he was almost like sending out that phone call.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily know if he was communicating or if he was searching. Like he was literally
other
searching.
Jedi?
Yes, putting that force dial out there. And what I think
going to answer.
See, I'm hoping because I'm hoping it's DH Mark Hamill. I would really love to see Mark Hamill play the Luke Skywalker that he kind of wanted to play. Give him some justice there. That's what I'm hoping. Throw some that de-aging stuff on him. I know a lot of people want Sebastian Stan, but to me personally, I think it'd be cool because he looks like him. But don't recast the OG characters. There's just certain things you don't do. And Mark Hamill was, whether he liked it or not, but he wasn't a fan of how Luke went in Last Jedi. So let him play the Luke Skywalker that he wanted to. That's what I want. I'm guessing it'll be either him or Ezra, and that's how we'll lead.
I hope it's Ezra. I so hope it's Ezra.
Yeah, but the fact that it wasn't specifically a Jedi temple, who knows? I was thinking maybe Palpatine at first, but the Empire already has him, so that kind of defeats the purpose of that. Yeah. But who knows? It could be. A lot of people are pulling for a Mace Windu resurrection. As much I think that'd be cool, but I'd rather his death mean. Yeah, I'm hoping no. I hope
somebody had a really cool idea about. I'm blanking on what the character is, but in the Jedi Temple YouTube series, the actor who played Jar Jar Binks, his character. I've seen people hoping that it's like they canonize that. Yeah, Ahmed Best.
Yeah, I can't remember the Jedi. I can't remember his Jedi Knight name in the show, but yes, Ahmed Best was playing him. Yes, I did see that, Maggie. They were like, could we bring him in as like a teacher or something to? And I agree. I think that would be awesome for Ahmed Best. And I think at this point, any new character that we get introduced, whether to your point, Rohit, it's Sebastian Stan, it's Mark Hamill, it's another Jedi that hasn't been in, with all of the spoilers that happened over the summer, with people going, oh yeah, Katie Sackhoff's going to be in season 2. Oh, Rosario Dawson's playing Ahsoka Tano. All of those spoilers that dropped over the summer, for them to put something in the last, 2 episodes that we get of this season, if it's somebody that hasn't been announced, that would be epic.
Incredible.
It would be huge.
Oh, like we actually got a surprise that wasn't ruined this season?
Yes. See, now that would be awesome. And Noah down there says Cal from Fallen Order.
Yep.
The only reason I don't think it would be Cal, because I know he has another video game coming out. So I feel like they would not want to spoil what happens to him, whether he lives or dies. That would be my only thing. But if season 2 ends with a cliffhanger with Luke Skywalker, where you see a hooded person going on the planet and at the rock, and it turns around and it's like Ezra or Luke, fans would, people like, my God, people would lose their minds. But the only reason I don't think it would be Ezra is because, and I thought this, and Dave Filoni said,
thank you, Sean.
You don't know when that took place, Ahsoka, that could be her asking where Thrawn is because maybe they haven't done that last scene from Rebels where she meets up with Sabine. Maybe that happens after she asks the magistrate where Thrawn is, because Filoni did put that teaser out there. Like, we don't know when this is. Yeah, it could be that we don't know when that scene takes place. It could take place after this episode of Mandalorian, or it could take place before. So we threw that. But I do, as being selfish and just as a fan, I hope it's Luke Skywalker, and I hope that's the I hope that's the Easter, or not the Easter egg, but I hope that's the cliffhanger we end with. Is Mark Hamill saying something, and I would just literally shit bricks.
Yeah. It's like opening a Kinder egg. You don't know what the toy is that you're going to get inside. That would be the giant surprise at the end of the season if it's
nothing,
Mark Hamill.
What if no one answers the call? You know what I mean? He wants to stay with his dad.
It's hard because it's like, well, is he just maybe communicating with the Force? Is he actually talking to somebody? I saw it earlier. Somebody said he was with Mace Windu and all the F-bombs wore him out. Agree. That would wear me out.
Baby.
Yeah. Sean called Kelleran Beck. That's Ahmed Best's character in the show.
There we go.
Yep. It's Kelleran Beck. If we could see him maybe as the Jedi teacher. I think it's something, it's either the Force or it's another Jedi that he is communicating and maybe basically looking for guidance. It could be Yoda. It could be Qui-Gon. It could be former Jedi that have now passed on, and he is just communicating to them through the Force. So it could be anything. We have yet to find out. So, but anyway, so Moff Gideon, he dispatches these dark troopers. They come in like rockets, and he only sends out 4 of them. If you watched the previous episode, he had like a whole army of them lined up there, and he sends in like 4 of them, and they come down in perfect synchronization around the child. At this point, the child is passed out on the rock. There really isn't much he can do at this point. So they really look like Cylons, kind of, from that view.
Really do.
They really look like Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. So at this point, they have no problem capturing the child. Oh God, this picture breaks my heart right here.
Man, look how sweet they look, though.
They look so awesome.
So cool. I cannot wait to get this in a Black Series figure.
Woo!
This is going to look amazing. And actually, if you guys don't know, I'm a big Sideshow fan. I'm a big Hot Toys fan. seeing one of these in 6 scale that maybe has batteries that light up for those little red lights in their eyes is going to be sick. I will be the first one to pre-order
incredible.
But so yeah, Hot Toys Sideshow. If you're watching, get on it. Let's go. Do it. Hey, they released like all these other characters from season 2 pretty quickly after the shows aired, so you never know. But anyway, they snatch the child up. They take off with rockets. Mando at this point, Din does not have his jetpack, so he cannot follow. Boba is in his Slave One ship at this point, and he almost goes to intercede. But when they discover that the Dark Troopers have the child, Din basically says, "No, back off. I don't want the child hurt." Like if something happened, he would just absolutely be distraught. So he tells him to back off, and he says, "Okay, I'll follow him. I'll see where they're going." He follows the Dark Troopers up. They get on, and I mentioned it before, the Arquitens class ship that Moff is on is a throwback to a Clone Wars ship right at the end of Clone Wars era, blending into the Imperial Navy. It's a really cool ship. It's not a huge ship. It's not a Star Destroyer. It's not Super Star Destroyer. It's smaller than that. So to see them kind of go back up, and he's with his own eyes, he's like, "The Empire's back, bro."
He freaks out.
He's like, "I don't know what to tell you. The Empire's back."
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I'm getting away."
Yeah, he's like,
"Dude, this isn't a spice dream."
Yeah, this isn't a spice dream. The Empire is back.
Yeah.
And he is just, I think he's in as much shock as the others.
Why we have beefy Boba. He's been having spice on Tatooine and he's getting like munchies.
He gets a little bit of munchies with his spice, maybe. Eats some Crate Dragon chips while
chilling with the Jawas.
He's noshing on his spice.
It's a good look. That's what I'm saying.
So they head back up to the ship, and Mando basically says, "Look, I'm not gonna pursue. We're not gonna take him out. I gotta round up the posse." So Boba comes back down. They kind of meet up, and he's like, "Look," he's like, "I gotta go help my kid. Right? Our bargain is fulfilled. You've got your armor. I gotta go." He's like, "No, the deal's not done." Boba's like, "No, the deal's not done." He's like,
well, before all that, though.
Yes, yeah. So in the wreckage of the Razor Crest
spear, when I said the ball was going to come into play to break our heart,
yes, that was, So he finds the ball, and he also finds the spear of Beskar, Mandalorian spear of Beskar. He picks that up. It clearly survived the destruction. Beskar is some serious shit. So he picks that up, and he kind of starts talking to him. He says, "Look, I got to go help the kid. Your end is fulfilled. It's fine." And here's what is this Josh, where we learn about Boba Fett and his history?
They kind of make them Mandos again.
Yes,
exactly.
This is what I was talking about, because before, they made them not Mandos because Almec in the Clone Wars is like, Obi-Wan asks him about Jango Fett, and Jango Fett, he says something about like he's a pretender with a suit of armor.
Yeah.
And I have always said, well, yeah, Almec is like he ends up being dirty,
deceptive.
so like it makes sense. And then when Boba says this, it makes total sense that he would say that Jango wasn't real, because Almec was one of the pacifists.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So this moment was, I think, a giant redemption moment for those Fett fans that have heard Boba is not a Mandalorian. Jango is not a Mandalorian. When clearly in this episode, they specifically state Boba got his armor from Jango. Jango was gifted his armor, right, by the Mandalorians. So they clearly felt it, like a long chain of them were Mandalorians. That's vindication. That's the word. That's the word, Josh. Vindication. There you go.
I wanted to show you guys this because this is from the EU. This is Jango becoming a foundling, and I wanted to know if you guys feel like this reminds you of anything.
Oh man,
Why do you have to hurt me like this, Josh? What did I do?
Ooh, wow.
What did I do
That
to
is-
deserve this?
That is spot on, dude.
Oh, I was
Someone
going to
else's
Go ahead.
entrance into the Mandalorian.
Maybe that is
Yeah.
done for a reason. That whole shot for shot. Maybe they got it from that. Like Maggie was saying earlier about the EU being so. We were talking about deep cuts pre-show, and Maggie, you brought that up. Like they are taking so much from the EU. Like they're presenting it to us. And man, you might be onto something there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Somebody on Twitter deciphered the chain code.
Oh yeah.
It is all
what
credit
the
goes.
holograph that he put up there.
Yeah, all
Okay.
credit goes to Cad Bane at Cad Bane Bounty. Rick. He said that it's Foundling took into the year ... Concord Dawn, Mentor Foster, Father Fett, Boba Fett.
Whew,
That is what it is.
Wow.
That's so
That's so
cool.
cool.
Man, I love that stuff.
And see, if I had more time today, I probably would have freeze framed that and like tried to pull it from the Arabesh to see what I could get. That is
It's
awesome.
not Arbesh, it's Mandoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
That's
That is
right.
awesome. Whoever did that, that is awesome. Way
and
to go.
Deep cuts.
That is a deep
Iodine
cut.
in your cut. That's how deep
Yeah.
it is. So deep.
And I gotta laugh at Noah's comment here, which right above me is it says "Suck it, Kyle." But yes,
a fan of Boba Fett.
no,
No, but
I think
he has said
Yeah.
that he wants Boba Fett to he wants Boba Fett to have a reason to be cool and to be
Yes.
beloved. So maybe that, just like with Maggie, maybe this will turn him around a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
That's
think
what I'm
that's the
hoping.
thing for a lot of people that maybe were hating on Boba Fett is that everybody was like, "Oh, he was so cool." Well, you only like him because he had cool armor, but he didn't actually do anything. I think that's why. Like, so those Fett fans right now after this go, look, he was a Mandalorian. He does have a code of honor. He is really badass at fighting with or without his Mandalorian armor. And that redemption and that vindication is real now. Filoni just in Favreau nailed that, and Rodriguez nailed that with this episode. That they have brought Boba Fett fully back to life, and to mirror what he has done in the expanded universe is amazing. But
I
yes,
love it.
yeah.
I'm so happy.
So at this point. I think even Boba Fett at this point is freaking out a little bit, right? The Empire's back. Like, dude, I want no part of this. I saw this back in, 40, 30, no. So ROTJ was what, 5 years prior to this?
Yeah, it was
roughly?
like 5 years ago.
5 years. So
I
he
think it
probably,
might be 7 now.
yeah. So like 7 to 10 years between Empire and now. He's like, dude, I've seen this. I want no part of this. I want nothing to do with this. And, but he basically, when they're talking, he goes, no. He's like, I haven't upheld my end of the bargain yet. You gave me, I got my armor back. Now I got to help you find the child. We need to go rescue this kid. And Fennec's like, dude, I'm all in. Let's go. And now we get this awesome triple tag team matchup of Fennec and Boba and Mando, and they're gonna hunt down this
What a team.
Well,
kid.
Kara, oh no. Well,
yeah, we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
So now he says, look, I gotta figure out where Moff Gideon is. I know he's alive. I gotta find him. So he goes back to Navarro and he talks to Cara Dune. And he says, hey, Cara, he's like, I need your help. And you clearly see the Marshal badge. She has now gone legit. She is helping the New Republic. She is a Marshal in, the outskirts, the Outer Rim territories. And, she has to, just like most normal cop movies, has to abide by the rules. I can't do this, right? He's like, look, I just need to find somebody. I need you to find me Mayfeld. Loved that. So now we're looping Mayfeld from season 1 back in, who was an Imperial sharpshooter. We're looping him back into this. He's like, look, I got to find him because he's going to know where to find Moff Gideon. And it was great. And I haven't gone back and looked at it yet, but as she's looking through the profile of wanted criminals, did you notice the Ponda Baba profile in there? Somewhere there was a couple others, but there was a little
well, he does have the death mark on 7 systems, so.
Yes, there was a little and I haven't looked at the rest of them, but there were others in there. But she pulls him up and gives his first name. I can't remember what it was, but she gives his first name. What was it?
Bill.
I thought it began with an M. For real,
yeah,
like
I think it did.
It begins with an M. It's like Melt Mayfeld or Mert.
It's Mateus Mayfield.
Mateus. Okay.
His name's actually Brian Mateus Mayfield.
Okay.
Brian.
Wow.
That must be the worst Star Wars name ever.
Yeah.
Like Kyle is.
I was just gonna say, Maggie, is Kyle worse or Brian?
Yes.
Brian's got to be
says yes, both. They're both bad.
Joe Skywalker.
Yeah, so they find Mayfeld, and she tracks him down, says he's serving 50 years for basically trying to spring another prisoner that Mando is assisting with, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And tracks him down. And this is where he kind of drops the bomb on, and she's like, other than that, I can't really help you. And he's like, look, they got the kid. They got the child.
Excuse me.
Yes. She looked at him like, are you serious? All right, let's go. Yeah. He's like, anytime I get a chance to kill some imps, let's go.
Yeah.
So I think I imagine I can't remember if it cut off there and it went to Moff Gideon.
She gave him the look like.
Yeah, I think it ended there. So I'm assuming she joins the crew for the rest of the mission, and I'm assuming we're gonna get some crew in like tension between her and Fennec and Boba and that kind of thing, right? Like we did in the prison escape one in season 1. But she's gonna join the crew and help them out, and that's what because she feels for the kid too. But after that, we cut to Moff Gideon. And he's on the bridge of his beautiful starship, and he walks past the giant hollow table there in the middle to go into where they're keeping the child. And as we enter this room, you see these 2 stormtroopers absolutely struggling to just do anything in the room to restrain this. That is a great picture.
Can we just talk about how the child very clearly had been paying attention to all of the violence that he has seen in the last 6 weeks of his life?
Yep. He is just flinging them around the room like rag dolls, and they're
wrestle.
They're struggling, and Moff comes in with 2 other stormtroopers, and one of them is basically ready to stun the child. He's like, no, wait a minute. And the child pins like these 2 stormtroopers, right? He's holding them out away from him like this. And then all of a sudden he goes and moves them in, and they smack heads. And
I looked for pictures of this and I couldn't. That was the only one I could find.
No, I mean, that was a great shot. Yeah, that's a perfect shot, because here he's just toying with them. That's all he's doing. He's messing with them. And he smacks them together, and they fall on the floor. And then you just see the child kind of collapse on his side because he is absolutely exhausted from trying to use the force power to mess with these stormtroopers. And at this point, Gideon knows, I have him. Oh, a perfect picture, Josh. Yes. He right there. That's that look. He's like, see, we didn't have to use our stun guns. This kid's just going to wear himself out. He's not experienced enough using the force. He has a high midichlorian count. We know that, but he doesn't know how to wield it. And he knows it. Moff Gideon is almost Thrawn level smart.
Oh yeah.
Almost. I still think Thrawn would have the upper hand against Moff Gideon.
I do too.
But he is pretty close. He is super smart. Better than is he Tarkin level smart? I don't know. Tarkin was pretty smart too. But
I think he wants to be.
I think he wants to be, yes. I think he wants to be that head honcho. And right now we know there's a lot of admirals and other Imperial dignitaries kind of jockeying for power within the universe, right? Moff Gideon wants to be the man. And I think at this point, was it Ric Flair? Did he say it? To be the man, you got to beat the man. Go ahead, Rohit.
The only thing I was saying is that I wonder if because Giancarlo Esposito said he was getting orders from a higher. I think in an interview he was saying something about he's getting orders from somebody. So I wonder if he's getting orders from Thrawn somehow, or maybe Palpatine.
It'd have to be one of those two. No one else outranks him.
And but I also wonder, is he, because there was a group of, at least in the Aftermath novels, and from the novels, they're not really doing too much, because like the way Old Boy got the Boba Fett armor was different from the novel. But there was a group of the Empire that wanted to keep it Empire, or they wanted everything to go into a different direction. Everybody had a different thing. So I wonder if he is First Order-esque, or if he wants it to keep an Empire and do his own thing. I wonder, because like his ship, for instance, is not a basic Empire ship. It's very almost like, I don't say low level, but it's not a Star Destroyer. So I wonder, you know what I mean? So I wonder if he's jockeying for position and he's doing something on his own, maybe with somebody else trying to, maybe Thrawn is pulling the strings. And then you got like the First Order stuff happening elsewhere. But with the cloning stuff, that makes me think maybe otherwise. But also, Grogu was reacting out of fear and anger. With very, obviously, dark side tendencies. So this makes me think that he will not be trained as a Jedi for that reason, but also because of his deep attachment to Mando.
Yeah.
So I think that right there, and I could even see, I'm reaching a little bit here, but I could even see him going a little dark side for a little bit.
I hope so.
I think when Mando maybe gets to him, he jacks up Din a little bit, and then he has to do something to pull him out of that. And, who knows?
Say his name, and that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Maybe. A little ball, give him a little hand. Hey.
And
Rohit, look what I saved. Look what I saved.
Yeah. It's me.
And Rohit, this is totally a safe space to pull out all of those crazy tinfoil hat theories. We love it here. Chris does it all the time. We love his crazy tinfoil hat theories. They're fun to listen to. So if you've got one, dude, just let it go.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And Mando save his ass, and then bam, he's like just dark siding everybody.
Yeah. Couple quick things. I saw Noah had posted there was a Tusken on that list that Kara was looking at. Very interesting that there's a Tusken Raider on that hit list. What was it? One of the comments I think was about Mayfeld. I think it was Tiernan was not really excited about Mayfeld coming back. Not a Mayfeld fan apparently. I don't mind the character. I loved the little shoulder gun thing and like how he actually was like kind of a cool little sharpshooter trooper, but
he looks so much cooler in the Art of the Mandalorian book. The writing, like the drawing and stuff, the like character description, he seems so much cooler than what we actually got.
Nice. And there's and I don't know how many of you guys pay attention to the artwork at the end of the show. You should really look at the artwork at the end of the show where they had kind of started to go with some of these scenes or what they wanted to do. I think it was like the last episode or the one before, maybe they had like Din in his normal armor, non-Beskar. It was very interesting to see that artwork in his non-Beskar armor. I can't remember which episode it was. It was an episode from this season, but he was wearing his non-Beskar armor, maybe the spider episode. But it was very interesting to see that because like that was their original intention and he didn't have the Beskar armor at that point. So it was kind of cool. Go ahead, Josh. What do you got?
Sloane ends up being a Grand Admiral at some point.
Yep.
It could be Sloane.
Yep.
Sean pointed that out.
That'd be incredible.
Which I do love from Ray Sloane.
I think that'd be really cool
awesome.
too. Yeah.
Cool, it would character.
Give her a live action.
Yeah. And actually in the Aftermath books, when you read with Ray Sloane in it, it was who was the character opposite of her that I legitimately thought was Snoke or going to turn into Snoke.
She was.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, he was doing. A lot of people also thought he may have been Thrawn because he was listening to the classical music.
Yes.
So Aftermath.
Yes, he was very eccentric. Also fell down a shaft.
Yes.
So much Aftermath.
Yeah.
Yeah. I legit, like, for a long time when those books came out, I thought for sure that dude was going to be Snoke, and it turns out like he gets killed down a ventilation shaft as well. Was not him, so we moved.
A lot of that was like
begins with a G.
Had nothing to do with anything.
Why can I not think of his name? It begins with a G, and I can't. I think it's a G, and I can't remember his name. But anyway, so the child has worn himself out here, using the Force, trying to smack these troopers around. I know, and he's tired. He's scared. At this point, I am almost in tears watching this show because Moff Gideon knows he has him, and he pulls out. He like gets close to him. He's not scared of him at this point. He pulls out the dark saber and lights it up and hovers it above the child's head. And he's just like, "Oh, do you know what this is?" And he's just messing with him, and I'm like, "This poor, like, he is helpless, absolutely helpless at this point." And it hits you right in the heart. And you're just like, oh my God, please don't hurt this kid. Yeah. And at that point, Moff Gideon's had enough. He says, I think he's ready for a long nap. And the stormtrooper hits him with the stun gun, puts him to sleep. They put these
baby cuffs,
super tiny. Yes.
Oh my God. Like a contact case. So adorable.
They put these super tiny restraining cuffs on him, and he's asleep. I feel so bad for him, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, he's so.
This is what he lived with.
Look at him.
This is like his years of his life.
Yeah. And at this point, I just want the child to have a happy, normal life and not have to worry about everything else that's going on in the galaxy. And at this point, I was almost in tears at that point, and I'm like, oh my God.
I think that's what will happen. I'm guessing because everyone's like, you don't see him in the sequels. I think he's just doing his own thing.
Where's Bo-Katan? Bo-Katan's got beef.
I think she'll be back. I do think we'll see a saber spear fight, Beskar spear fight between.
Can we just say, for those of us who watch Game of Thrones and were traumatized by a certain spear fight, this time he's got a helmet on. He better keep it on.
That's right. He'll be okay.
He's learned.
What if it's him and Bo-Katan, and like you think he's getting ready to fight with the spear, and he's like, oh no, here you go, Bo, you go ahead, and like passes it off to her and lets her do it instead of him.
Yes.
I can see him and Ahsoka fighting oh boy together, or maybe she'll get tied up with dark troopers. But a lot of people don't think Ahsoka will be back, but I'm hoping she will. But she might not, because she might have the information she needs to go do it, or her mission. But I'm hoping that she will pop back up for the last episode. I think the next episode will be them, like you were saying. That won't necessarily be filler, but it'll be getting the crew together to
Ocean's 11.
Pretty much get back Grogu.
Yeah. Thank you. And Noah commented here. Thank you, Noah. It was Gallius Rax.
Yeah.
That's it. I knew it began with a G, and I was like,
you were almost there.
I was like, why can I not get him? And I thought for sure he was going to be Snoke. And then she ends up knocking him off a ventilation shaft, and he dies. So, we assume
there's no railing. I mean, there's no railing. So.
And in Star Wars, that is a common problem. I don't know where OSHA is in all of this, but they continually build things with no railings, and there is no regard for anybody's safety in any of this. So, but that's where we leave it. That's the end of the episode. The child is in danger, asleep on a cold slab of steel on an Imperial ship, handcuffed.
It's a tragedy.
Yeah,
it is I still think the tragedy truly was the Razor Crest.
Well, that's your wallet squealing. That's what that is.
Gosh.
Yes, that's my wallet going. Well, now Hasbro is going to roll out the new Razor Crest or like
Wait,
the
Josh, I'm gonna send you something over. I can't post this yet because it's a spoiler on social media, but he might be able to pull it up for this.
Josh Law says the Empire does have a budget. So
Check
yes,
Twitter DMs.
they do apparently invest in all of the heavy artillery and stuff like that, but not the safety for their own employees. But yes, no, I agree. They have a budget. Stormtrooper armor is the cheapest made armor that they can possibly get. Their helmets are only designed to filter out gases. That's it. Dust and debris. That's it. So yes, I agree. They have a budget.
They do.
Yeah.
And they're spending it all on Dark Troopers right now.
Yeah.
That dark science is not cheap.
That's some serious Batman R&D right there under the table Christian Bale type R&D development right there.
Did you ever picture seeing Dark Troopers in live action?
No.
Nope.
No.
And looking so incredible. When they were coming down, it was just like
You were like, oh shit, this is serious.
And Din's like trying to run up the hill.
And I would say for me, I was a little disappointed that they didn't do more than what they did. But I know, I know it's coming.
Yeah,
I know it's coming. That was the teaser. The follow through will be coming up. So,
Do you guys want to see Maggie's scoop?
Yes, let's see it. What do you got, Josh?
Well, this is so I was talking about it earlier. This is the next tier on the HasLab.
This meme will be posted either tomorrow night or Monday morning.
Yes.
It's weird. It looks just like the Alderaan playset. It's kind of awkward.
Right.
Right?
Or
like,
the
don't get them mixed.
The Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're just recycling playsets now. They're being
just dust and bone, man. Dust and bone. That's all it is. So, but yeah, this episode again had everything. Kudos again to Filoni, Favreau, Rodriguez, the whole crew, Ming-Na Wen, Tamara Morrison, Pablo.
Dream team.
I'm speechless after this episode. And I know we say it after every episode is like, we don't even know where we're going next week.
Yeah.
Next week could be crazier than what we got this week.
It could.
It could. I don't know. But I'm just floored by what we got. I feel and don't get me wrong, like I know and you for those of you that listen to the Star Wars Friends regularly, we value everybody's opinion on Star Wars Friends. We don't care if you love prequels, hate prequels, love the sequel trilogy, hate the sequel trilogy, don't watch the animated series, love the animated series stuff. We don't care what your opinion is. Your opinion is still valid. It's your opinion. That's what it is. It's your opinion. It's what you like in Star Wars. And that's the best part about Star Wars is it's for everybody and you form your own opinions on what you like. But I have to say for those people,
unless you like Beaumont
unless you're Beaumont, nobody likes Beaumont. But for those of you that are Fett fans, like Josh, like Chris, I am beyond the moon ecstatic for you guys.
I'm so happy
what
for
you
him.
got in this episode because I feel like I am so happy for you guys. It was awesome to watch, and I hope you feel vindicated and redeemed and whatever the proper word is for it, that all of your love of Fett has come to fruition and why you love that character.
I'm so happy for everyone. Seriously.
Yes. Oh my God.
I was very happy to see Boba Fett get his love. That was awesome.
So before we move on and we start to kind of wrap up this show, where do we think we're going next episode? Rohit, I'm going to start with you because you're our honored guest this evening. Where do you think we're going next week in all this Mandalorian craziness?
Kind of what I said earlier. I think we'll get the breakout episode, and it'll be similar to the jailbreak that we saw. We'll have the tension if Cara Dune is with them. I think we'll have more tension, to be honest, with Bill Burr's character and Mando and him trying to convince him, like, hey, what's in it for me? You
double crossed
here, pretty much.
Yeah.
And can he trust him and all this other stuff? So he probably has no love for the Empire, I'm guessing. So we'll see what happens there. I'm just wondering, are they getting a crew together to get back Baby Yoda? You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I'm hoping whatever the season finale is, it does not end with them keeping Grogu. I'm really hoping that the season finale ends with we get it wrapped up.
Liberate
We get whatever Jedi. I hope we do get a Jedi that answers the call. That's what I'm hoping. And selfishly, obviously, I want it to be Luke. But one of the reasons why I want it to be Luke as well, because I really want to see a live action interaction, whether it's on Mando or something different between Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker. And just, I would love to see her tell him stories about his father. I think that would just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something so crazy. But as far as Mando goes, I think we're getting the jailbreak next episode, and that's going to lead to a huge season finale.
Yeah. Couple quick things. Rebel Art Empire said Sail Barge was HasLab and same fate as the Razor Crest.
This
exactly.
is true. This is true.
Apparently they only build ships that blow up. I don't know. And then I was reading Sean's comment here, Josh, that you just had up. 14 years ago, I'd read books in school about Boba in Now Legends. Now he's back on screen, and it's thrilling.
It's unreal, man.
Yes,
it's unreal.
Unreal.
Whole season's been unreal. Like, it's things that we talked about and dreamt about, and it's here. It's in the flash.
Yeah.
Like Ahsoka in the flash. Boba's back. It's like, is this happening? I never thought it would happen ever.
No. I really honestly thought it would just be a mystery the remainder of the time, and they would keep it that. But to bring this character back and put him back into canon as a badass character is just awesome to see. So, Maggie, what about you? Where do you think we're going next week? And Maggie, I would say, is a lot of times on point with her predictions here. So I'm not putting her on the spot or anything, but Maggie, she is channeling the Force to get these predictions. So Maggie, what do you got?
So I feel like we're going to get this team up of Grief and other characters that are on Navarro, and they're going to go and find Mayfield, and they're going to, like you said, try to convince him to come on this little journey, because I mean, he was a former Imperial sharpshooter, so I'm sure he's got some knowledge of what's going on with this new empire. The what was it that Moff called it last week? The new era.
The new era, or the new age. The ensign said something about like you will be rewarded in the new age or something like that.
Yeah.
And
then I think it's going to be this like epic ultimate showdown. I want to say that Bo-Katan's going to show up, because I feel like that has to happen.
Yeah.
It would make sense. But I'm not 100% sure. And I have this gut feeling that, like, I'm sure the finale is going to end up being Jon Favreau directing it, but I have this gut feeling that it's going to be a surprise director. And I cannot shake that, like, because we don't know. I mean, the list that we had that came out from the Directors Guild has been, like, 100% correct, but there was no one listed on that for the finale.
Really?
Yeah. So either it's Jon Favreau again, and they just didn't feel like having to repeat that he was directing 2 episodes, or it's a surprise. And that's the thing that keeps like keeping me up at night, because I really do feel like that's gonna be a surprise, and I'm hoping
it was George Lucas.
that's what keeps me up at night. So that's
yes, but
wild.
But that's exactly right. That's what we love is the mystery of these things, and when they can keep it a secret. Like the child, we didn't even know the child was in season 1.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my god, it's Yoda! What the hell? Like, where did this come from? And they kept it a secret for so long. That's what we love about it. So those people that post all of those spoilers over the summer, shame on you. Don't do it. Keep your lips zipped. Don't ruin it for everybody. The mystery is the fun part. That's what makes us love Star Wars like this. If it is George Lucas, to your point in this last episode,
and Disney will find you and probably hurt you, so be careful.
Or reward you.
But
that's the thing. Like, you don't have to spoil things for people. Like, I'm so glad that the child was kept a secret, because I think that if Baby Yoda had dropped, it would have been like pandemonium in fandom. And I like the things that are like a secret. Like, I liked not knowing who was the directors for every episode, knowing who was going to direct, but not knowing what you were clicking when you started an episode. So but I do think the stakes are just going to keep increasing. I had kind of theorized that today's episode was going to be like big build up, and then like kind of just keep on.
Almost
Keep
like
on
a
going.
2-episode season finale, right?
Yeah.
This was episode.
This is the third to.
This was
we have 2
chapter
left.
14. We got 2 left, so it's almost.
So next week is the penultimate, and then the finale. So the penultimate will leave us on a cliffhanger, and next week we'll all be losing our fucking minds.
We're losing our minds now, Maggie. We're losing our minds now.
I know. Just picture next week though.
Holy shit!
And that's what Filoni is great at. He does that to us. Like if you go back to Rebels, you go back to Clone Wars, those season finales are 2-parters. They're 2-parters. Like you get the despair in the first one, and then you get the redemption in the second one, and that's what he does to us. And I love it. Absolutely love it. And if you can help Sean with his bank account, I'm sure he would greatly appreciate it.
I'm so sorry.
Josh, where do you think we're going here in the next maybe episode or 2?
Next episode, I think we're going to get a split between getting the crew back together, like we already said, and then also watching Moff Gideon be evil to the child. Maybe Dr. Pershing is back.
Do that.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll have that like weird dichotomy where like Moff Gideon is like, and then Dr. Pershing is like secretly being nice to the child while still like doing the stuff that he's supposed to do. But yeah, I mean, I think I can't even wrap my head around what I think we're pretty much on point with it being like a Avengers style thing at the end. But this season has already surprised me so much, even with all the scoops, that I don't even know. Like, it could be exactly what we think, or it could be like today, where I thought it was going to be filler, and then it was Boba Fett's redemption story. So,
not filler at all.
No,
none.
I'm hoping that last one's like extra long, maybe. I don't know. Just would be nice.
I mean, even if it's back to like the 45-minute mark for like the last 2, I would be ecstatic, because they've kind of fluctuated where it's like 45 minutes down to 30, down to 26 or something, and then it goes back up. If it's like 2 45-minute episodes, I would be impressed, seriously impressed. So for me, I'm not going to make a bunch of crazy predictions. I just want more Dark Troopers. They were awesome. That's probably and Darksaber. I love Darksaber. Anytime I can get some Darksaber, I'm usually pretty happy. I love a good villain in a story, and Moff Gideon for me is hitting that nerve perfectly. I don't have too much of him, but I don't have too little of him either. So it's a perfect balance for me. And I can't wait to see how he stops or combats this superhero team up, as we kind of alluded to with the Marvel thing. So, Maggie, what did you have? You had something else there?
I forgot.
It's okay. It's okay. There's so much to unpack in this episode, and I am sure when we get into our deep dive later next week and we kind of talk about this on our podcast, we'll find a whole bunch more stuff. I only got 1 watch in today. I fully plan on getting at least 2 or 3 more watches in over the course of the weekend, so we will have a ton more content for you guys.
I might actually rewatch this
next week. Ooh.
I haven't rewatched any of the previous episodes, so I'll watch like select scenes if I'm trying to like recall something. But I'm notoriously bad with rewatching dramas. Like I'll watch Parks and Rec, The Office, New Girl, like mindless stuff like a dozen times. But stuff like Mando, I have to like be really in love with an episode to come back to. And this one hit all the high notes.
It was solid. So. I think so we'll have a lot more come next week's episode on our podcast as far as what we get into. We'll go through and kind of just, for those of you that are joining us, thank you again for coming on Star Wars Friends Show. Razor Crest Reacts, or Razor Crest Deconstructs, or whatever you want to call it now, since we have no more Razor Crest. But I'm Rohit. Where can everybody on the show, and where can our listeners kind of find you and follow you on social media, and kind of follow you through your career?
Well, of course, you can see at Hakeem Zayn. That is my Twitter. On Instagram, it is Raju Zayn 80. And of course, you can find my merchandise, prowrestlingtees.com/Rohit. I think it's /Rohit. Yeah, /Rohit. And then, of course, Facebook is Raju Zayn 80. Most of the time, I'm on Twitter or Instagram. And of course, you can find me every Tuesday night on Twitch or Access TV, being Impact Wrestling's greatest X Division champion in this lifetime. You can see me dropping everybody that, you know, answers the Defeat Rohit challenge. I wear really nice shirts and cool shades. And sometimes, most of the time, I'm half naked. But I'm always running my mouth, and I'm always entertaining. And I'm pretty much being a dirtbag. So, but hey, it's cool. It's fun, and I love it. So you catch me there.
I have to say two things. The first thing is you have you have at least one. I think you might have two, though, shirts that are like anime inspired. We need a shirt with you in Mandalorian armor, I think. Like, I think that needs to be the next move.
Yes.
You know, because I know there's already one pro wrestler in Star Wars, but you know, first is the worst, second is the best. Let's get Rohit in the Mandalorian, maybe season 3 or 4.
Here we go, man.
I
talk to you, brother. You let me know.
We have Tiernan and Marigoddess asking which half.
Well, which half is naked?
Yeah, which half is naked?
Well, you got to tune in on Tuesday to find out. There you go.
I will say too. So the second thing was, and I always like to mention this, and it's not the toast promo. Don't worry, I'm not going to bring up the toast promo. But the something that anytime like I tell Tab I'm like talking to you on Facebook, or anytime you're mentioned, she always brings up this time that we were watching you wrestle, and there was this lady in like the front row giving you the business, and you were like barrel rolling out of a move. You made eye contact with her while spinning and double flipped her off, and you were like laughing. It was like the coolest thing I've ever seen anyone in wrestling do. I was like, we still crack up thinking about it, and it's like it's just like a simple thing, but just the execution. He's really good at riling up a crowd. Like there's nice. None better. It's
half the time I just pull that stuff out of my ass, and I'm just like, okay, you know what? This person's saying something. Well, I'm just gonna do this, and I don't think about it. It just happens, which is, I guess, that's just being natural. So I'm a natural jerk, I guess. So there you go.
Yeah, she literally said, "Look," she said, "I think about it all the time."
Thanks, Dad. That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
Well, hey, Rohit, just like Daddy Din, sometimes you just got to go with the flow, man.
Exactly.
You just got to go with the flow. So, Josh, where can everybody watching and listening follow you at?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Battle of Tanab.
Maggie?
You can find me on Twitter at Maggie of the Town.
Maggie, you got anything else you want to talk about?
I do. Ooh. We are still raising funds for the Trans Rights Are Human Rights fundraiser. We are at almost $18,000, and the fundraiser will continue to be active until December 20th, which is just 2 days after the season finale of The Mandalorian. So be sure to donate if you haven't already, and you can still share it on Twitter if you have donated.
Yes, thank you, Maggie. I forgot. That's awesome. My fault. I completely forgot.
It is all good.
Yes, please. This is my first time hosting one of these things, so hopefully
you did awesome.
So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So
even tell.
Thank you. And again, this is Justin. You can find me on Twitter at I am the Bendu. You can catch our podcast weekly at Star Wars Friends Show, anywhere you listen to podcasts, SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever. We do this every Friday night, 7:30 p.m. We love having you guys on here. We love reading your comments. Some of these comments.
I apologize. I was manning the comments and the pictures, and there was a couple times that I was doing the pictures, and I looked and it was like 15 comics. Went back to so sorry about that if I missed something.
No, it's all good. Like Sean, you were killing me with some of these comments tonight.
I know, his comments are great.
Oh my gosh, and Josh, spot on with the pictures. Destruction of the Razor Crest, breaking my heart. Just breaking my heart.
Wait, this one?
Don't do it.
Oh, boo!
And I know I don't think we have that graphic, but if Chris was here, I know he would say, Boba Fett is alive. And you guys would just love it.
Oh, wait.
Just absolutely love it.
Hold on.
Oh, Josh has it somewhere.
Get out of here. It's right here, everybody.
Oh, there it is. Boba Fett is alive, people.
Yes.
Awesome episode. Fantastic to watch. So again, you can follow us on any kind of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at SW Friends Show. You can email us at show@starwarsfriends.com. And then you can follow us clearly at any one of our Twitter handles below here. So thank you everybody for joining in for Razor Crest Reacts tonight. Awesome, fun show. Thank you, Rohit, for joining us. And before we end this in classic fashion, I got to say, Rohit, I'm going to need one more let's go, please.
Let's go! Woo!
Yes.
Wow! We're doing it right now. I can't believe it.
Yes. As always, everybody, may the force be with you.
Always.
Always. Bye.